Brahmin, which is not just, so he was thinking how to purify himself from this sin which has occurred, he has incurred by that killing the Britra. Now, how the Britra, the question now, this 14th chapter deals with that how the Britra became so powerful and born in that as a Ashura, he could become the empowered with so much power and devotion to Krishna, the Lord Narayana. So that is the question. Let's start with the chapters 14 of this book number 16, verse number 1. That Raja Pradikshit said, O illumined one, how did this Britra, whose nature was rooted in Rajas and Tamas, and who was very sinful, obtain such a firm devotion for the worshipful Narayana, who is the inner pervador of all being? So the question came to the king Parikshit, and he asked Shukadeva and said that, please tell me that Britra, whose nature was rooted in Rajas and Tamas. Normally people get devotion when they are Shaktika people. So Rajas and Tamas person with their own failures and weaknesses, how they can get such power that they can have so much devotion to the Lord Narayana. So he continues, question, even in Devas, who are endowed with the equality of Sattva, and in great rishis who have attained purity of mind, this kind of unalloyed devotion to Narayana is not found. Even the great sadhus, great rishis who are endowed with sattvika quality, they even lack this intense attraction or intense devotion to Bhagavan. So how this Britra could get that? Living beings are countless. There's a Bhagavad Gita's idea. Living beings are countless in this world like grains of sand. How many people, how many living beings are here in the earth? Forget about the universe. It is countless, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. So in this world, like grains of sand, among them all species, there are only a few here and there for spiritual development. Manushyanang Sahasresu, Bhagavad Gita says. Among Sahasra Manushas, humans, Manushyanang Sahasresu, Kaschid Jatati Siddhai. Some of them may be interested in engaging themselves in success or knowing God or becoming Sattiko to love God. Here also same thing. Among the millions of grains of countless grains of sand, in the human species, there are so many species, and human species, there are only a few here and there who aspire and strive for spiritual development. How many people? Millions of people are there in the world. Very few people are interested in God. And few will be more interested in devotion to God. Just interest in God is very rare. And among the interested people, how much people will be available who will really want God? So, O Holy One, even among them, still fewer are the aspirants of mukti or liberation. Among such aspirants, only a very limited number of people who succeed in abandoning hearth and home and realizing the Atman. So that is the rarest number of people in the world who can be found, who are really aspiring for God, detached from the world and worldliness, and leading a Sattvika life. O great soul, O great soul here is mentioning the Sukadeva. O great soul, among a crore, limitless number of things, such liberated and spiritually illumined being, again, persons who have perfect equipoise and single-hearted, ecstatic of love for Narayana, are extremely rare. So it is like millions and billions of people are there. Few here and there, maybe some few people, they may have the yearning to know something beyond. They become searching for God. Among the people who are searching for God, then they sincerely they are actually engaged in sadhana. Few among those sadhana engaged people sadhana, few here and there will be some illumined souls. And even among the illumined souls, they get liberation. But bhakti, mukti and bhakti. So here is a question, very precise question. Mukti means liberation. Mukti can be achieved by sadhana, but bhakti is rare. Bhakti is Ramakrishna said, that's why we say give the four fruits. One is for dharma, artha, kama, moksha. This is the moksha means liberation. Fifth, so we give everything to Sri Ramakrishna and say, give me bhakti, love, unconditional love. Unconditional love for God is much higher than even mukti or liberation. So that's why it is said, O great soul, among a crore of such liberated and spiritually illumined beings, again, persons who have perfect equipoise and single-hearted, ecstatic love for Narayana are extremely rare. Love, that's why prema is very rare. There is a song Ramakrishna used to sing that Ami Mukti dite kator noi. I don't think so much to give liberation to anyone if I want. But bhakti dite kator hoi. But I am really reluctant to give anyone bhakti. Because when I give bhakti, Bhakta becomes the master and I become his slave. Bhakta, whatever bhakti is observed, and I go support him, I become a child in the house of Nanda. God, Lord of the universe, become a child. And he listens to his father's injunctions, mom's dictates. So I become their child at there. And so that is, I don't want to do that because I will have to work hard to play in the role of a devotee of my father and mother, my uh, whoever controls me. They say, but mukti can be given. You are liberated from the ignorance and you have achieved the knowledge of Brahman. So according to Bhakti school, bhakti is much rare than mukti, the liberation. Liberation means, I am that, finish. But mukti means, after knowing that, you pray to God and make God such, the Lord God of the universe becomes your son, becomes your friend, becomes your slave as it were. So all the nice relationship with God, 5 relationships, so God plays in this way. So, and that's why the love for Narayana are extremely rare. Thakur used to say, that he used to sing always, that I am very much careful whom I give devotion, bhakti. Gopi, all the gopis, Krishna became then the playmate of gopis, as if bound by their love and emotions. So it is God is bound, as it were, so it is very rare. How then, verse number 6, did this Britra, a sinful oppression upon all the worlds, came to have such firm devotion for Krishna, who is Satchidananda, existence, knowledge, bliss absolute, even when engaged in a fierce battle. So he is engaged in Rajasa action. He is the king, he is killing the good people in the world, oppression of the world. But one side, how much devotion he got for the Lord God, who is Satchidananda Krishna. The sixth verse. Vrittastu sa katham papo sarva loko upo tapana ittang dridhamati Krishna. How they have a dridhamati, firm conviction, one-pointedness in Krishna. Asit, how he got it, even when he was fighting with the gods and angels. 7th verse. Oh, revered sir, that means, oh, Parikshit is putting the Raja, King Parikshit is putting this question. So he's addressed, sir, we have great doubt in this matter, and we are therefore very much desirous of having a true understanding of it. This Britra own the admiration of Indra by his prowess. His resignation to the Lord could not therefore have been caused by fear. So he says that he killed Britra. Britra killed or destroyed the power of the Indra by his own strength. So he is not a weak person. But how he got love for God so deep, it is my question. Please tell me that Britra, simple question is that Britra being a bad person, endowed with Rajasa Tamasa quality, and who is a bad ruler and arrogant, egotistic, can have so much devotion to Narayana. Suta said then. Suta means the what is called the commentator, those who are narrators. Suta means narrator. Narrator then says, who is narrating the story between what is happening between Parikshit and Sukadeva. So narrator said, Sri Shuka, the son of Badarayana and Vasudeva, on hearing this sincere and earnest question of Parikshit, praised him for putting such a question and began to answer it. So now Shukadeva started responding to the question of the king Parikshit, how Britra being a Rajasic and Tamasic person, how he could have devotion to God so much, which Indra has not. Most probably he got this rare devotion. Shukadev said, listen, O king, to the traditional account on this subject, which I heard from Vedabhyasa, Narada, and Devara. That means Sukadev is certifying that what I am telling you is not what I am telling. I have heard from my father Vyasadeva. I have heard from Rishis, the sage Narada and Devala. They are all sages, great of name and fame in the world, who are established in truth. So I have heard from them and I am giving that account, what I have heard. in the land of Surasena. Surasena means now a place which is near Mathura, where he was born in the jail. Krishna was born in the Mathura. So in that Mathura, in that place where Krishna was born, near that there is a place Surasena. And there was a famous emperor. His name was Chitraketu. So he is relating a story that I have heard from my father, that there was a great powerful king, Chitraketu by name. He used to live near Mathura, where Krishna was born. That land is called Surasena, in whose resignation the earth yielded all requirements of men. That means it was a powerful king, as also a prosperity of everyone happened during him. So he's a Chitraketu, is the emperor, good emperor. In his time, all prosperity and name and fame, and people's miseries were removed. That king had many wives, as the kings have. Kings marry many people, many queens maybe from different places. But every one of them was barren, and the king was therefore without any son or child. That king had many children, but they have no children. Though possessed of all desirable endowment like beauty, generosity, youth, high birth, learning, lordship, wealth, this Chitraketu was very much worried about his children, wives being barren and without any child. So the king was Chitraketu was very not happy because though he has money, wealth, prosperity, and he is ruling the country with the proper strength and power, everyone is happy in the country, but still he is unhappy because he has no child. Who will be the prince to carry on this kingdom? Neither wealth, nor his numerous beautiful wives, nor his vast empire could give him happiness under the above circumstances. So, what happened then? 14 verse. Once the one worshipful rishi, Angirasa, happened to arrive. At that time, when Chitraketu, the king of Mathura, a place near Mathura, there he was staying there, and Chitraketu, then was in this court, and the sage Angirasa, they arrived. That was the day's style. Sages will occasionally come to the Lord's courthouse. And the sages used to respect this extraordinary spiritual people. So they will give him stand up, give him ovation, and put him into the beautiful seat and wash the feet of this rishi with due respect and humility, feet at the seat of rishi. That was an ancient country, India. We heard that in the Shanti Gita. When we read the Shanti Gita, we had the same experience. Shanta Bruto was a sage, rishi, a king, and in his kingdom came some wise people like that. Here is the question. The worshipful rishi Angirasa, who is very admirable, spiritual power, arrived at the king's palace in course of his travel all over the world. After receiving him standing, the king stood up and offering him an honor of seat and ceremonial worship. The king seated himself with a restrained mind near the rishi. So he was quiet mind and he sat at the feet of the rishi. The king Chitraketu, who was endowed, seated near him on the floor in all humility, the rishi returned the courtesies and said to him as follows. What the Rishi Angirasa, because he was so humble and sat at the feet of the Rishi. The Rishi was all courteous and he also praised Chitraketu, the king. He says, Rishi said, I hope you yourself and your subjects are all healthy and happy. Just as a man is protected by a defensive wall of 7 aspects of Prakriti, and just as man is protected, we are protected by 7 defensive wall of 7 aspects of Prakriti. What are the 7 aspects? Mahatattva, Ahankara, and the 5 Tanmatras. That means it is as the body is all being kept intact by Panchatattva, Khiti, Tej, Marudbam, earth, water, air, fire, and also ego and mind. So as it is maintained like that, so also a king's defense consists in 7 constituents of the state. A country is good if his king have these protective 7 protections. What are the 7 protections? The preceptors, ministers, inhabited villages, fortresses, treasury, machinery of enforcement, and allies. The king thrives by putting confidence in these constituents of the state, and they by rallying round the king. I hope all your household and state functionaries are obedient and faithful to you. Your wives, subjects, your ministers, your executive officers, your servants, your children and vassals. What is vassal? Vassal means what? Anyone? Vassal? VASSAL.
Oh, it's like the people who are pledged to support the king.
Vassal.
Other smaller kingdoms.
That's it. Wow. So hope they are all, your wives are obedient to you, your subjects are obedient to you, your ministers obey your instruction, executive officers also follow you, your servants are very much respectful to you, vassals and children, that means your son, grandson, they are all happy. He who has been able to control the mind, to him all the above mentions are obedient. That means you should have it seems that you have your control of mind. Unless your mind is controlled, a person is unhappy. Even in the most happy condition, he'll be jumping like a monkey. So he who has been able to control the mind, you see, when we get angry, what happens to you? Every day you look out. Anyone getting angry, look at the situation. The calm person, jumping, howling. So that's why he said, he who has been able to control the mind, to him all the above mentions are obedient. That means a person of self-control, to him other things are controlled under him. Not only that, all the worlds and the rulers come to him with tribute unfailing. You are a king, big king, honest king, controlled king. So others also respectfully come to offer their salutations. You do not seem to be happy within, but I see that you have everything okay. But looking at you, I can find that you are not happy within. Why is it so? Is it due to some internal worries? The king is being asked by the rishi. Or it is due to some extraneous causes that I see you as with his cherished desires unfulfilled, as if you have wished something, you are not satisfied. So tell me what has happened. Why you look internally unhappy? Though externally I see that everything is okay. So your face is overcast with worry. worrying thoughts. Now, this is the question put by the sage. Now, O king, being thus asked this question by the sage, who could, if he liked, intuit anything he wanted to know, that King Chitraketu, in his eagerness for a son, replied to him as follows, making prostration with humility. So the king Chitraketu then responded to the question of the sage, and what he said? The king said, "O all-knowing one, for yogins who have overcome all evil tendencies through austerity, knowledge, and meditation, what is there unknown about a person's inside or outside? You are a yogi. You, by just mere look, you can see what is going on inside. So it is very common that you will know what is going on in my heart. You know the minds of everyone. Yet, since you have now put this question, you know already. But still, as you have put this question, so I am trying to tell you, I shall give out the cause of my worries. Then what is it? Even though I am enjoying the power and plenty of the emperor, unattainable even by the world's overlords, none of this pleases me who am eager for a child. Just as a man hungry and thirsty is not satisfied with anything but food and drink. A person who is thirsty and hungry, he is not happy with anything else. You give money to that person who is hungry. Okay, I give you this note. Will he chew the note? He wants food. If someone is really hungry and thirsty, okay, I give you this gold coin. Will that solve his thirst? So it is said that thirsty and satisfied. So I am not satisfied, though my subjects are so good and my ministers are so loyal, but I am not satisfied. O great one, being childless, I, along with my ancestors, will be consigned to hell. It is believed. If you have no child in the tradition, then you go to hell. So I will be going to hell then. By helping us to have a child, deign to save us from this pit. So it is my condition. I need a child, and I'm not getting happy to be given by a child. So please bless me with a child. Now, the king put this question, asking for the blessings of the holy man. Then Chitraketu, then how he comes in next thing. Then Sukadev again said, the learned, merciful, and all-knowing Angiras, the son of Brahma, made the king prepare some sacrificial food offering and perform a sacrifice to Twasta. So what happened? This king then, guided by the learned, all-knowing Angirasa, Brahma's son, they prepare a sacrificial fire. In early days, for anything and everything, you do a jagna. So they did a jagna whose name is Twasta Jagna. Then Sukadev continues, O king, the Maharishi gave the sacrificial remnant to the senior-most of the king's wives, named Krita Dhuti, to eat. So, what are they, after offering every oblation to the fire, and then the sage, Maharishi, the sacrificial remnant is given to king's wives, senior-most. Among so many of her wives, that was given to the senior-most wife. Afterwards, the Maharishi Angirasa, the son of Brahma, told the king that he would have a son who would be the cause of both joy and sorrow to him, and departed. So Angirasa was a priest-like thing. That Angirasa came when he do to perform some puja, we ask for some priest, no, who will perform the puja. So as I will, we are thinking that sometimes this year, so the Swami Sarvaswananda will come to perform the Kali Puja. So he came like that and performed the puja and jagna, and whatever the prasad after the jagna remained, that he said, okay, give this to your senior-most wife. And that was then given. Afterwards, Maharishi Angiras, son of Brahma, told the king that you would have a son, but this son will be born. This, if your wife eats this food, you will have a wife, but he will be cause of happiness as also cause of misery. That is the type. That it will cause of joy and also sorrow to him. Saying this, the priest departed. That queen, Kritaduti, by consuming that sacrificial remnant, bore a son from the seed of Chitraketu, as the goddess Kritika from the fire deity Agni. Anyhow, that was eaten, and then he got a child, is being born in the king, O king, the fetus that originated from the virility of the king of Surasena developed in Kritadhuti as the disk of the moon in the bright fortnight. When in due course the time for the delivery arrived, a boy was then born, bringing great joy to all the inhabitants of this kingdom, Surasena, who heard about the same, because the whole country was also sharing the grief of the king. The king is unhappy, but king is a good king. God, he takes care of our all needs and welfare. But he himself is unhappy. Now he got a son because of this instruction followed by the what we call the king, and king wife gave birth to a son. And the son was born, naturally everyone is exceedingly happy. Rejoiced at it, Chitraketu, the king, took purificatory bath, but on decorations got the blessings of holy men for the infant and got its birth rituals, Jata Karma, performed. In Indian tradition, when a baby is born, there are some certain rituals are done for the good of the child and good of everyone. So some holy men will do that. Normally priests do all these things. And then naturally the king Chitraketu presented these people with gifts and gold, silver, clothes, ornaments, villages, horses, elephants, and above all, 60 crores of cows. So they gave all gifts. These are the gift giving. Because the son is now uh, um, born and his purificatory activities have been done by the priests. So the king become very happy and give the gifts to Brahmins and others with clothes, with ornaments, with gold, with silver, with elephants, according to the condition of the person. As clouds shower rain, so the high-minded king made gifts very liberally to all for the prosperity, fame, and longevity of his son. And naturally, king was so happy, he was waiting for his son, and now the son is born. So king was generous to use his treasury to give gift to the people of his state. The king's attachment for the son, whom he had obtained with such great difficulty, grew day by day as a miser's attachment for hard-earned wealth. Naturally, the king Chitraketu was waiting for his son, and his whole life was miserable. Now the son is born. Naturally, the king's total attention went into the son, day and night, looking after the son, fondling the son, taking cheerful with the playing son. So naturally, he becoming away from his ruling the country as also from others, other wives and other friends. They are deprived of their association because this king's mind has gone to the son, on the son. So Chitraketu has his mind is when king's mind is attached to the son, whom he had obtained with such great difficulty that attachment grew day by day as miser's attachment. Miser people, they get more and more attached to their money, to their wealth. So every person who is attached to anything, they get so much involved into it, they forget other duties, responsibilities. The mother, Kritaduti too, developed towards her son attachment that verged on infatuations, while the grief of her co-wives for their childless condition also began to intensify. So, you see, good and bad. Mother Kritaduti, who is the senior queen, he ate that and he got baby, birth of the baby. So the king is very happy with the child, day and night thinking of the baby. And her mother, Kritaduti, she also get very much involved in the child. So both the king and the main queen, they become involved into their son's attachment to son, and their attraction for everything got lost. Everything, it happens in everyone's life. You get attached to anything, then you get out of so many other things which causes problem. So the mother Kritaduti developed towards her son some attachment that verged on the infatuation, while the grief of her co-wives, and the co-wives now become jealous. The king is not looking at them, and they are being uncared, and the king is always my son, my son, my son, my son. And the principal queen, she is very much cared for because it is her child. She has given the birth of the child. So, king, queen, and the child. And the king who is to give attention to other wives, other members, that is gone from the mind. Now Ketu, the king, now ceased to have for his childless wives the same degree of love that he developed for the one whose child he could not fondle with affection every day. So naturally, his love, king's love goes for the prince, a queen also, main queen, who has given birth to the child. But the other wives, they become jealous now. Then what happened? These co-wives, they suffered intensely from the combined effect of their envy towards the Kritaduti, the senior princess or a queen. And they felt their inferiority from the combined effort of their envy towards their inferiority complex, their childlessness, and the king's neglect on them. Now it is a family affair. Now attachment go in such a way, the other kings felt that other queens felt that we are neglected, we have no value, and they become very upset in that situation. Then the other queens started thinking, woe unto the women who is childless, they are thinking for themselves. Unfortunate, devoid of her husband's confidence, and looked down upon as a maid servant by her co-wife who has become a mother. So she is now in the glorified position. Praise goes to That mother who gave the birth, and other mothers are uselessly, they are thinking we are worthless, we have no position in life, what for we are here. Maid servants, and the king is also behaving with them as like a maid servant. But before that, they had a respectful position in our life, in their life. So maid servants who serve, who receive the recognition of their masters again and again for service, have no cause to be aggrieved. But alas for us, we are unfortunate beings who are like maid servants of the maid servants. Like this, so these wives started grieving. They started talking to themselves and grieving, thinking that we have become worthless because of this child being born, and their mother is the prince, main attraction, and we are useless. Great was the fire of anger in the mind of these wives, and jealousy generated in them at the sight of their co-wife's treasures of a child, because she got its baby, so they become jealous looking at her. They become jealous, and jealousy generated in them, anger generated in them, the fire of anger, while the indifference which the king developed towards them helped to fan the flame of their fire. They are always seeing, looking at the child and the mother, jealousy, anger. And the king also now could not pay attention to their other wives because of the child and the mother. So that inflamed the anger and jealousy in them. Now what will happen? Now the baby is the cause. So the co-wives make a plan what to do. If the baby is killed, we can kill them, then both attraction will go away, and then we'll be back to our own position. Their buddhi was diluted.
Kill the king, then the problem would be even solved.
Hmm?
Instead, the baby, the father of the baby is killed, then they could live all together happily.
Yeah, but that didn't happen. So now 43 verse. Deprived of all goodness and discriminative intelligences due to jealousy and animosity, and prompted by their intolerant hatred for the faithless king, these cruel-hearted women administered poison to the infant. Kritaduti, the mother, unaware of the wicked act of their co-wives, was under the impression that the child was sleeping and kept herself busy with domestic work. That baby, they have already given poison to the baby. Others thought, the baby's mother thought the baby is now sleeping. Therefore, they don't pay attention to any other thing. And she was busy with her other household work. But later, the queen, Kritaduti, the intelligent Kritaduti, felt that the child was asleep for too long a period, and so called her maid to bring the child. So he sent her maid servant to bring the child to the baby, to mother. On approaching the child on its bed, the maid was shocked to see that the infant with pupils turned over up and his vital forces, senses and mind not functioning. So shocked to see the infant with pupils turned up. What is pupils turned up?
Eyes rolled back.
Oh, like that. Pupils turned up and his vital forces, senses and mind not functioning. She fell down screaming, "Alas, alas, dead, dead, I am dead." 47 verses. Hearing the loud and piteous cries of the woman, the maid servant, who had beaten her breast. The queen, the mother, Kritaduti, went to her side only to be shocked to see her child most unexpectedly lying dead. Immediately she fell down and swooned out, fainted of overwhelming grief, her hair disabled, clothes in disarray. 49. Hearing the cries, men and women living in the palace all came to the spot and joined the others in crying with an equal measure of anguish and sorrow. Those responsible for of the dastardly act, and this act which has been killing act, they also said crocodile's tears and joined the party of the mourners. And they also said, ah ha ha ha. They have planned the child to kill. And now they are also in the party of crying, so that as if they don't know anything. That's why crocodile's tears. 50, verse number 50. Stunned with uncontrollable grief on hearing about the most unexpected and inexplicable death of his beloved son, the king, attended by his officers and advisers, came to the spot with great difficulty, almost blind with grief, and often stumbling and falling on the way. So, naturally, the father will be so grieved, so he could not walk, as if his eyes are full of tears. And anyhow, with the officers and advisors, he approached that same place where the baby is dead. The king, whose locks and garments had become loose, fell at the feet of the dead child. Then father came and fell at the feet of the child. He was sighing deeply, and his voice was choked by sobs. Seeing her only child dead, and her husband overwhelmed with grief on account of that, the queen began to lament variously, recounting her woes and causing great anguish in the hearts of the ministers and other people. The torrential flow of tears, mixed with the collyrium in her eyes, fell on her breasts and mingled with the red saffron applied thereon. With her hair disabled, the flowers, wreaths falling, the garments in disarray, she began to moan aloud in a voice like that of the bird osprey bird. O Creator God, you who function contrary to your own creative activity must indeed be unbelievably foolish. The mother now repenting and crying and sobbing and saying, O Creator God, you have created. Again, you are functioning contrary to your own creative activity. Must indeed be unbelievably foolish. You are foolish because you create one side and after creating you make them die. The death of a very young person while old individuals are left behind is an instance to the point. If you are doing this deliberately and not out of foolishness as said before, you will be distinguished yourself as an enemy of your own creatures. It is a lamentation of the mother. 55 verse. If it is said that in birth and in death there is no such rule based on the age and individuals, they being determined by the karma of the jivas, then you are cutting asunder the bond of affection which you have yourself generated for the multiplication of the species. So you have given in the heart of everyone love. So if you say the born child will be born and will die, then you are creating your own confusion. But people will abstain from having children if such dire consequences attend on having them. O son, it does not befit you to desert me, your mother, afflicted and helpless. Look at your sorrow-stricken father also. With your help, we could have easily got over the hill which issueless people cannot cross. Do not go far away with the merciless Yama. Oh, my dear child, get up. Other children are calling you to play. You have been sleeping long and must be hungry now. So take food, have your feed at the breast, and comfort us, your near and dear ones. 58. O son, my unfortunate self misses you, your face, with its charming, childlike, and placid look. Have you been taken by pitiless Yama to that land from which there is no return? I am not able to hear your sweet, indistinct speech. So, mother is lamenting in all this language. I am not hearing your voice. Please come back. Yama have taken you too far. Come back. Wherever you are gone. All this lamentation of the mother. So, yeah, then we'll end the chapter. The Sukadev, seeing this condition, Sukadev then narrated, sorrowing with his wife, who was indulging in some such words of lamentation, King Chitraketu burst forth into the loud wails. All the relatives, men and women, gathered there, joined the couple in their wailing. Everything bore the impress of death. Seeing that group of sorrowing people, leaderless and reduced to the state of inertness, the two sages, Angirasa and Narada, appeared on the scene. Now, this mom and dad, the king and the queen, and everyone around are and weeping and sobbing the loss of the child. And then in that scene arrived the Rishi Narada and Angirasa. Here ends the chapter 14 of the book number 6. There is story of Chitraketu, the king Chitraketu's lamentation and the birth of the child and death of the child. We'll read the next day, chapter 15. The sages will be, Narada has appeared now. Narada will give some advice to overcome this grief and suffering. That we'll hear next time. On page 177, we end here. That means we read the chapter, 14th chapter today. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Ramakrishna said to Vidyasagar that although his activities were in Rajasic, it was rooted in Sattva. Is there such a thing as tamas with a basis in Sattva? I think there, Thakur also said that there is bhakti, Sattva and Rajas. Rajas mixed with Sattva or tamas mixed with Sattva. Thakur said the tamas of bhakti is like that. He will say, Ha re re re, I mother, you will have to give me your vision, then I'll chop my head off. So that's called the tamas of bhakti. I think probably there is bhakti is bhakti. It manifests through people of different temperament. Sattvika people expresses their bhakti in a tearful eyes, crying and sobbing, and they will have horripilation, they will have joy, bliss in their whole body. So asto vikaro, they happen. And 8 types of reactions is found in the man who is really Sattvika person, endowed with deep meditation. But there are also Rajasic people are also there. Their expression will be Ravana, the Rajasic person. And there are Tamas also may be there, but the expression will be different. But love for God will be intense in a negative way. Okay. Okay. So we'll see you then all at 7:30 in 7:30 Sheta Upanishad at 7:30 p.m. Thank you all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. chapter in.
The whole chapter.